The one word to me that says Frimhurst and everything to do with Frimhurst has got to be family.
This house is a safe place for us.
Also, Frimhurst is a place where we can find ourselves as well.
Home.
They all class it as
Even
their
the
big home.
grandchildren says this is our big home.
Frimhurst is more than a building. It's a shelter, it's a haven, it's a home. We call it Frimhurst Family House, but it's more than a house because it's somewhere away from all of the regular everyday problems, difficulties, some of the terrible places we've had to live. When I first came here, my family and I, we were going through a pretty terrible time. And it took a lot of encouragement to get me to come here. With this, it was the right place at the right time. We came here and my children got out and looked and they said, "Wow, can we touch the trees?" It was like someone had opened the cage. And suddenly they flew all around the place. They were children and they were having fun and they were laughing. Around this house there are photographs, there's documents, there's evidence of the families who've been coming for years and generations of families coming. And they've all survived it. They may still be in poverty, but they've acquired some skills, some talents, support networks, friendships, ways of challenging the system. But when you drop off your armour, you're weak and tired and exhausted. You come through the doors for a few days. When you go home, you pick up your armour, but you're stronger, so it doesn't feel quite so heavy. You know you've got to carry it back with you, but you've got some resilience and some courage to go back and face all that because you've shared it here. They say we are scroungers, we're shiftless, we're feckless, we don't look after our children, we don't make efforts to improve our lives. And they don't know actually what they need to come here and spend a week with the families in Frimhurst and learn really what are the barriers to people moving out of poverty.
We've never had a holiday before. We've never been able to afford a holiday. So I told the kids, I said, we're going to this place called Frimhurst. It's for respites. And you do get to do lots of things like activities and stuff like that. The most memorable thing for me is sitting at Frimhurst with my two children and reading them stories. Yeah, that would be. That's the most memorable was sitting. I'd have each of them side by side, and I'd be sitting on the big cushion in the library. And there's so many books to choose from. I'd say to them, "What story would you like?" And I'd sit down and read a story. The whole idea is when you go to Frimhurst for you not to think about it. You know, you don't take your problems home, then you take it to Frimhurst. The whole idea is you don't do that. My kids, they're going to be having a good time. It's activities for them to do, and that's it, really. Well, if someone told me to come and talk and to say a few words, and I'd be like, oh. But now, I've spoken in Parliament, and I'm doing this now, so ATD and Frimhurst, yeah, they've given me lots of confidence to be able to do stuff like this.
Because we was moved from place to place when we were little because there was just no houses and you used to rent and mum couldn't afford it, neither could dad. So that's why they basically moved us here because they got made homeless. But then when we got here, it was like a nice family, safe home. And this is what we did class as home properly when we were young. Frimhurst House changed us a lot, yes. Made mum a stronger person of herself. she knew that she could move away and she could do anything and everything she needed to do before she was here. Then when you came here and got all the support, when you moved away, you felt as though they've helped you so much. And you could do it all yourself now. But you always knew there was someone here to turn back to if you needed them. I remember when I was like 10, 11 years old, come on, Anne-Marie, let's go do cooking. And we'd be baking cakes and everything.
You can guarantee if you wanted a birthday cake made, Ruby would help you make a birthday cake.
Anything like that.
Any birthday that was coming up, Ruby used to help you make a cake. And
so
then,
did Ruby and Mrs.
Gad. And you used to have a birthday party. You didn't have to invite anybody else because there were so many kids
there was
here.
all of us all here. Every
you had
birthday
a party here
there
anyway.
was just hundreds of kids. It was just a big happy family fair. My daughter Sophie come here when she was a baby. Now she's just graduated at Southampton for being a social worker. And obviously she wants to support everybody here. She's been growing up here.
I've been to Frimhurst loads of times in my life, and obviously my mum and that lived there when they were younger. Without Frimhurst they probably would have completely struggled, had nowhere to go, no food, no nothing. So I think without Frimhurst I might not have been around.
He invited me to come across to Frimhurst to actually meet other families who were somewhat struggling with day-to-day living costs, because I've got a family of 5 children, and obviously having 5 kids and living on benefits, it tends to be a bit pricey. Over the years, Frimhurst and ATD itself have helped my family in a many number of ways, be it from just general how to get by with things, to how to sort things out, to having family and friends that we choose, because we are the family that we choose as opposed to the family we're born into. So now it's my turn to give something back to Frimhurst, and that is the way I feel. So I come in 2 days a week, and I've been sorting out the database and helping with the general day-to-day running of the office. Poverty to us is not being able to put shoes on my children's feet. Poverty is deciding, do I feed my kids today or do I feed myself? And getting the priorities right. The priority is our kids, because our kids are our future. What can I do to actually help put things right? To which the answer we gave was, just spread the word. Let people know that poverty does exist.